What's going on, y'all? ESPN gave us something to talk about. As many of you guys know, ESPN puts out a top 100 list of players every year before the season. Their top 100 players, or I don't know if it's like a single journalist, if it's like a team of people putting this list together, but either way, I think we have up to 50. So numbers 100 through 50 are up. And before I get to the beef of this, let me just say flat out, besides what I'm going to be talking about, this list is bad, okay? It's bad, and I don't understand it. There isn't, because, look, it's not like you're going to get this super detailed explanation. They give you a few sentences after each player is ranked. But, all these questions I have, it's like, well, how could you account for this? Obviously, it's subjective, but still, they don't give you enough information, enough reasoning, I should say, to justify where they put the players. So when I look at this list, I'm like, what the hell were people thinking? And that's exactly what I thought when I saw that Lonzo Ball was ranked ahead of Carmelo Anthony. Not only Lonzo Ball, but other names such as Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Covington, Danny Green, those were just some of the people, but if it means anything for what it's worth, Marcus Smart was ranked right behind Carmelo Anthony. But basically what we're going to be talking about, since it's like the most invalid portion of this, the one that you really can't argue, or you'll have probably the most trouble arguing. I know Robert Covington over Carmelo is definitely something people will be like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. First, I'm not going to say he's better, because he's not, but people do sleep on Robert Covington, really hard, because that guy is a great defensive player, and he can shoot threes, and that's like a crop of player that's really, really valuable in today's NBA. But, okay, still not better than Carmelo Anthony. Lonzo Ball is a player that has yet to prove himself. And other things, like another just bad aspect about this list is they had not only Lonzo Ball ahead of Markelle Fultz, which, wouldn't be that outrageous because, they were compared pretty equally. And, if one guy gets ahead of the other guy, it's like, whatever. What are you going to do? Dennis Smith Jr. somehow was ahead of Markelle Fultz. I don't know how you figure that. The guy was picked, 7th or 8th? In front of the guy who was like the consensus number 1 pick for most teams. So I'm not exactly sure how you get that. Maybe it's because Markelle got injured in summer league and Dennis Smith had a pretty good summer league, so I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. But we're gonna be talking about Lonzo Ball being ahead of Carmelo. Specifically, why is Melo this low? That's pretty much what it is. And then why are you putting Lonzo ahead of him? ESPN knows what they're doing, because if they put Lonzo 1 behind Carmelo, it makes basically no difference for them, but it makes all the difference for us because we're not getting outraged about it. Yes, we'd still be getting outraged because Carmelo is as low as he is, but it's not like we're able to make the argument why is there a player that has not played a single game yet ahead of Carmelo Anthony? That doesn't make any sense. ESPN clearly was asking for attention by putting putting Lonzo over Melo. That move there, I think they got 5 times as many views on this list as they would have, 5 times as much press as they would have, right? That makes sense. And do they actually mean it? Do people in the ESPN offices, do people that write for ESPN really believe that? Look, I'm one of those guys that I've always thought Melo was a little bit overrated. I always thought that, look, the guy can score the ball, he's a good scorer, but Melo's a very limited player. He's not really a playmaker, he's not really a defender, and when it comes to scoring, it's not like he does it on the most efficient rate. Not saying that he's, an inefficient player, but I'm just saying Melo scores some points, and he gets in the highlights, and that was my main argument for saying the guy's overrated, is because he's a good scorer. No doubt about it, but there are more all-around players that always argue that, look, guys like Jimmy Butler and Paul George and Giannis are way better than Melo because look at what they do. They lead their teams to good records, even with subpar supporting casts, and they can do more than one thing. So that's an argument I always use. But I knew that Carmelo Anthony was still the best player on his team. If he wasn't, he was right there with Kristaps. I mean, I think Melo has been better, but maybe this is the season Kristaps takes the leap ahead of him because he's on the up and Melo's, he's going down, right? But I would never say something like this, especially if you guys know my opinion on Lonzo Ball, which, again, I'm not a Lonzo Ball hater. I don't think he's going to bust. I just don't think he's going to be a star in the NBA. I think he'll be a good player. But, that can sound outrageous to some people that think Lonzo Ball is just guaranteed to be, the next NBA superstar. But the guy hasn't played a game yet, first of all. Melo, we know what Melo does and is capable of, and the presence of Melo is much greater than all these other guys that I was mentioning and that they think is better than Melo. A lot of the guys, it's like, are you really going to go onto the court and game plan for Malcolm Brogdon? Are you going to game plan for, Robert Covington? And no disrespect to those guys, but they're not on the level. They're not even close right now. Malcolm Brogdon just got done averaging 10 points in his rookie season. And Robert Covington, I don't even know if he was averaging 10. Maybe he was. But look, the point is, I know those guys aren't go-to scorers, but they're not demanding attention. They're not anchoring a team. They're not the focal point. Okay, they're role players. Melo is a star player, and Melo, regardless of if you think he's effective or efficient or whatever, he's still more valuable than those guys, at least, right now. Maybe they have more value in terms of, they're younger and they're more expendable, but Melo is a guy that, you can't replace a Melo. You can replace a Robert Covington or Malcolm Brogdon with ease. There are so many other players like that. And again, I think it's funny that I'm defending Melo. I didn't think it would ever get to the point where I would defend Melo, but this is ridiculous. I don't know what you're smoking if you're making this list. I don't know what you're doing. You know what? I do know what you're doing. You're just asking for attention. That's all you're doing here. Putting Carmelo Anthony at, 64 on your top 100 list? The guy is not 40 yet, okay? He's not. He's 33 or 34, and he's coming off of averaging, 20 points last season? Probably more than 20 points. But yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. First of all, why is Lonzo Ball here? Guys, I saw something else. It's there's some other list that put, I think it was Slam Magazine or something like that. They put Lonzo top 30 or 40. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're just buying into the hype. You're just, his brand is big, so he's got to be that good. That doesn't make any sense. You judge him off how he plays, and in terms of Lonzo's play style, yeah, he's a great player for a rookie, but what are the chances that this guy is going to go out and he's going to average 20 points a game, and he's going to make his team so much better than make the playoffs? Come on. It doesn't make any sense. Lonzo Ball, I'm not wishing against him, but God, people need to chill out and wait for this guy to, show us what he's made of against NBA. We can't just assume. We can't assume anything yet, okay? We know that he was good in college, but that doesn't mean anything yet, okay? So, at least right now, going into the NBA and ahead of Melo, you've got to be out of your mind, especially Danny Green and the others. That's going to do it for this video. Tell me what you think about the video. Tell me what you think about them putting Melo here in the list. Personally, I think I would put Melo around the 40 mark, 30 mark. I don't know, something higher than that at least, but maybe not, I don't know, maybe 35, 40, something like that. Definitely not 64, 65. That's that. You got to be out of your mind. All right, anyway, that's going to do it. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.